If we continue talking to normal, Emmanuel, we will never solve this problem.
Passionate.
Some of these people are insufferable.
Emotional.
We want another organization of equals, where you have as much say because you pay, as much as we do because we also pay.
Bold.
This is a wrong battleground for them.
Determined.
The plan will be implemented according to schedule. We don't take kindly to arrogance.
And the message is clear.
We do not want anything for free.
We are not beggars. These are the true signs that Africa is tired of manipulation.
You really needed to stop this superiority complex nonsense. Who are you?
Let the tempers flare because Africa can't take it no more.
So shallow, so egocentric, that they think they know everything, broadcasting their ignorance all over the place.
And this time, we are breaking the colonial barriers in form of political boundaries. Africa is rising up and the rest of the world is taking a bow. This video looks at history-defining events which have happened in Africa lately, proof that Africa has become of age and that the leaders and all Africans are ready to face the West and all foreign powers in order to redeem Africa from neocolonialism and modern-day slavery. We all know it's not going to be easy, but it's imperative for the next level Africa. Arguably the boldest, fearless and most daring president on the African soil, His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, Yoweri Museveni, vehemently rejected a proposal by the United States of America or the US to establish a military base in the East African country of Uganda. The president expressed dissatisfaction with foreign army bases in Africa, stating that these forces come to Africa to destabilize peace. I guess what the president said here doesn't need more explanation. The president's skepticism is evidenced in countries like Mali, Chad, the DR Congo, and Niger, where foreign troops have made it home for decades. But all we see in these countries is extreme poverty, political unrest, terrorism, coups, social dissatisfaction. Well, we all wonder what these foreign troops do in these countries. We believe they're there for peace purposes, but only that this peace never comes. To prevent the plunder of mineral resources from Africa by other nations, at least 12 countries have or are planning to make it criminal to export unprocessed minerals. These include Ghana, Namibia, Zimbabwe, the Democratic Republic of Congo, among others. It's become apparent that everyone relies on Africa for economic development and political supremacy. Ironically, Africans get very little, if anything, from all this. Some kind of a hypocritical game built on systems and policies only favoring rich nations. A hypocritical game meant to enrich others at the expense of Africa. One of the main causes of poverty in Africa is the continent's lack of participation in the value chain. All critical resources are exported raw from the continent and then re-imported at exorbitant prices. Take an example of electric cars, mobile phones, and many other things. This weakens the local currencies and deprives Africans of business and employment opportunities that would be created should these resources be refined here locally.
This is what helpless looks like. And he's one of the children making millions for multinational corporations in America and China. For this, they'll get maybe 8 British pence a day.
Notable examples is crude oil, which is exported from African countries and re-imported at inflated prices. Most Africans lack access to electricity, while African minerals like coal powers big cities like Paris. Only a fraction of Africans can afford high-end smartphones, which are made up of 60% of components from Africa. Huge multinationals are hemorrhaging minerals from Africa without paying realistic taxes, while Africans only get casual, low-paying jobs.
This most precious of minerals is often extracted and sorted by tiny hands. They don't wear gloves or masks, yet the World Health Organization says exposure to cobalt and breathing in its dust fumes can cause long-term health problems.
The working conditions in these mines are heartbreaking, to say the least, an epitome of modern-day slavery.
The tunnels are dug by hand with no supports. They frequently collapse, especially during rain. The miners climb down using holes carved in the rock and no safety equipment.
The continent has been stripped naked of her wealth and resources, and the blame always comes back to Africa in the form of poor governance, poor infrastructure, and a lack of skilled labor. But who is responsible for all this? And who could do more? And who is doing less? What is the root cause of all the wars, poor governance, and poor infrastructure in Africa? And who funds it all? Smart African presidents continue to die mysteriously. Countries with leaders of differing opinions have faced constant riots and uprisings. African leaders hardly do or say anything contrary to the needs of foreign powers for fear of sanctions, uprisings, or even military action. Someone against Africa is ensuring that Africa remains unstable so someone else somewhere can benefit a lot or fully control Africa.
It is our challenge. The realization alone that we have a problem is halfway the solution. The whole discussion, the whole discourse is about interest. What is our interest? How do we protect our interests? Because everybody protects theirs.
Two of the world's learning institutions have been accused of restrictive and segregative lending to Africa, with President William Ruto of Kenya calling for a total overhaul of the two bodies.
We need a new financial architecture where governance, where power is not on the hands of a few people. And we want those resources controlled not by IMF and World Bank. Because IMF and World Bank, you have the final say. We don't have no say.
The International Monetary Fund, or the IMF, was formed to achieve sustainable growth and prosperity for its 190 member countries. The organization is expected to support economic policies that promote financial stability and monetary cooperation, which are key in increasing productivity, job creation, and economic well-being. This is half-truth for Africa. The IMF has achieved less than expected results in Africa for decades. The continent remains very poor, and most of the projects have failed miserably. The IMF bases its lending on risk assessment by organizations like Standards & Poor or S&P and many others, which are organizations based in foreign countries. According to His Excellency, the President of Kenya, William Ruto, the risk rating for Africa is exaggerated. Africa has been tagged as a risky investment destination, making African countries pay way higher interest rates on loans they get from these multilateral lending institutions, the same institutions which lend to other countries at less interest rates. This also scares away foreign direct investments that cut Africa off the value chain and leads to resources being exported raw to foreign countries for processing. Worse still, African countries get only a fraction of the amounts their counterparts get as defaultment loans. While the debt-to-GDP ratio in the region of 70% is considered high in Africa, rich countries can borrow up to 200% of their GDP. Looks like African countries are now taking matters into their own hands, negotiating their own economic terms and choosing their own political allies. The era of political and economic papacy is dying slowly but surely. This is what Africa has always yearned for, and when we see bold presidents like Yoweri Museveni, Paul Kagame, President Ruto, President Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa, and many others, we just feel proud and bold enough to support them as Africans. We need to rise up as Africans, we need to defend our continent, and we need to support our leaders to overcome this kind of manipulation, smart way of keeping Africa poor. I feel so glad that you've watched until this end. Thank you so much. This is Dreams of Success channel and my name is Francis. Hit the like button, subscribe, like this video, comment and activate the notifications bell. Remember to navigate the channel for more videos. There is a video on Ghana, a video on ending poverty in Africa, and a video showing endless looting in Africa and how Africa became poor through colonialism and slave trade. Thank you so much. My name is Francis and this is Dreams of Success channel.